music is in. I am worshiping. By staying in this meeting, you consent to being live streamed. Got it. Oh my God, it's live on YouTube. So I do pray that the sound is good. Okay. Sorry, let me get a little napkin from my nose because my nose tends to run. Got it. This includes messages. Got it. I don't need any activity. Oh my God, I'm live on YouTube. Oh my God, I'm live on YouTube. I'm live on YouTube, y'all. I'm shook. Hey, YouTube, this is Olivia. I'm excited. I'm getting ready to go all the way in on this live stream. This is highly prophetic. If you are new here, I'm going to introduce myself again and then go from there. So, Father, in the name of Jesus, have your way. Just clear the atmosphere. Allow God that it be a grace, God, that comes forth. And the people who come into this live stream know that they're coming. They know that they are here, that there's a shift. Lord, please remove every wall, every barrier. Lord, I thank you and I pray in Jesus' mighty name. So the YouTube is called, and the name of it needs to change. I'll change that after the fact. The name is changing. So the name on YouTube will be The Pace is Set. I didn't think about that because I've never gone YouTube live with my Zoom. Now I know from now on to title it what I wanted to show inside the actual live stream on YouTube. Hey, Mary. Hey, Faith. It's good to see you guys. Listen, I am excited. I'm on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, just because I'm trying something new. And I'm excited for what God is about to do. So I am a live streamer, of course. I've been live streaming for about a decade. I was live streaming with Periscope, got to Periscope VIP, which is the average of 2,000 viewers or more via each video. I've been led to get on a live stream on YouTube for a time, but for some reason, what do I look? I've been led to go on live stream for a time on YouTube, but for some reason, it's always been like, I don't want to edit the videos. I don't want to touch it. Like, I'm a live streamer. I don't edit video. I just go live. Maybe editing will come forth in the future, but right now I'm just doing what I'm called to do. And the name of this video is The Pace is Set. It's Let's Go. The Pace is Set. Yesterday, and I highly prophetic. Not going to give a lot of background. I will do a background video one day. So subscribe if you want to get notification when the background video goes up. But literally, I've been driving for about 9 years. 28, 29, about 8 years. About 8 years I've been driving. I learned how to drive. My first time driving was in 2015. I mean, I had to drive myself to my first retreat with other businesswomen. And I did it. And, 4 children, had never really even driven until 2015. Crazy, right? But all of that to say, when I'm in a car, I get ideas. And these ideas have literally helped me to launch a multiple six-figure business. I've gone from zero to literally making multiple six figures in a quarter because I have ideas, I execute, I build websites, I write copy, I write sales copy. I am a copywriter. I've been live streaming, so I know how to actually sell with live stream, messaging, energy, embodiment, all of that, done all of that work. Natural, as you can see, completely natural. Got a little pony up here. And let me just adjust it because I want it to be behind. There we go. So as you can tell, completely natural. And I've been live streaming literally for 8 years as well. So driving, live streaming, living for 8 years. And so I was driving with my boyfriend in the passenger seat. I'm in the passenger seat, he's driving. And we drive the same. We don't like driving together, but we drive pretty much the same. He's always nervous when I drive. I'm always nervous when he drives because we drive the same. And it's kind of hard being in the passenger seat, right? It's kind of difficult. Like, you don't want to be in the passenger seat. There we go. You want to be behind the wheel. I'm the kind of person that like to drive, but I started dating about 6 months ago after years and years of trying to do things here and there, trying to really date. Finally got in a relationship about 6 months ago, and this guy has been amazing. And so we were driving somewhere. And as he was driving, he kind of tried to show me little things, little tips and tricks. You know how they do, right? Like, you know how men do in general, right? So I'm like, all right, babe, no problem. Literally, as we were driving, he said, he likes to set the pace. He said this, and when he said it, I typically am listening to music with him. I'm thinking, but everything froze inside of me as I listened to him. He said, I like to be the pace car. I don't like to be out in the back. I don't like to be in the back of people. I like to set the pace. And when he said that, I was like, I know, that's why I started dating you. Cause I sense a similar energy in you, where you kind of like to, set the pace. And he said, I want to make sure you can hear me. He said this, he said, I like to set the pace. I don't really like to be behind anyone. I want to be in front. I don't want to be caught behind slow drivers. I set the pace. Well, he doesn't know, but we've only been dating for 6 months, so he's never heard me live stream about how I drive. When I started driving, I drove all the way in the right lane, like scary. Like I was like 60 in a 60, scary, okay? Because I didn't know how, and I didn't really want to risk getting into an accident or dying, right? So I drove in the right lane until I got better. And then I started driving into the middle lane. And I was like, okay, I got better. I started really learning how to navigate around cars. Now I live in South Florida and we drive on something called I-95, Interstate 95, goes from here to Maine, right? And so I drove between cities on the I. I didn't like taking back roads. You don't need to save more gas, get on the highway, okay? So I used to go behind a car and I used to be behind that car because I didn't have a lot of control over my speed when I started driving better. This is like year 3 of driving, year 3 in business. My first 6-figure year, I really started driving, like really started wanting to get past 65, 70. And the better I drove, the more money I made. The better I drove, the more money I made, period. It correlated. The first 2 years was only like 40,000 per year. Year 3 was 100K a year. And every year after that, 6 figures, 6 figures, 6 figures, whatever the case. Okay. And of course, 2020 was multiple figures, after that. So I literally made multiple 6 figures in a quarter in 2020. But I said, okay, Holy Spirit, I'm listening to him say I want to be the pace car. And I don't like being behind. And I said to him, well, I used to drive and I used to literally be behind the car that was setting the pace for me. So I just would go behind the car because this is where my confidence was. I needed a leader. I needed a pace car so that I can make sure I moderated my speed. So if it's 65, I didn't want to go over 80. So I would get behind the car going 80 and I just let that be the pace car. I don't do that anymore. Okay, but that's what I did up around year 3 or 4. Literally, he told me, do you know what a pace car does? I'm like, yeah, it sets the pace. He's like, no, it does more than that. And he said the pace car originated with like Indy 500 NASCAR, that pace cars have a purpose. So he started telling me the purpose of the pace car. And I'm like, okay, I've seen the beginning of races here and there. Never been to a race, but I've kind of seen it in movies and stuff like that. Well, he told me something and I decided to do my homework. And I knew immediately I was going to live stream. And the live stream is prophetic in that whatever you're doing for you business owners, for you creatives, the pace is set. Just start writing that out, start typing that out. If you know that you're in the right place, if you feel like this is really connecting with you so far, go ahead by faith and type the words, the pace is set in the comments, okay? So I start driving and I get beyond pace car energy. And I at this point in my life and career do not like being behind other cars. I don't like being in city traffic. If I can avoid it, I do. But if I have to drive in the city, I'd rather drive in the front of the pack versus the back of the pack, period. Why? Because I don't want to be controlled by anyone. Let's just roll with me. I don't want anyone to try to stop me or make me stop or make me move a certain way. I want the freedom in order to create the way that I'm called to create. So he begins to tell me in the car 2 days ago, yesterday, sorry, he begins to tell me the purpose of a pace car. That the pace car, what it does is it comes out and it begins to roll. He told me one thing, that the car goes back and forth and the other cars follow suit. That's all he told me. But, my curiosity is piqued. And now I have a whole live stream with whole points for you. So get ready, get a pen and paper. It's going to connect with you. It's going to connect big time. That it sets and it moves and it goes like this. It just goes back and forth. And, all the extra rubber is coming off the wheels. I didn't know that. Like getting loose rubber, loosening the tires up, it's something. That's what he told me. So I decided to go and look and say, what is the purpose? Do my homework. And I have some stuff for you. I have some revelation for you from the actual definition of what a pace car is. I'm looking at a website. The website is rookieroll.com/NASCAR/what is roll pace car with dashes in between each word after what. Okay. So you can go and find it. I might drop it in the comments. I've been doing this long enough where I think YouTube will let me drop it in the comments, right? So literally, I look it up. And the pace car has a dual purpose, which is why I got the idea to go online on my phone and on YouTube. The pace car isn't just something there to set it has many purposes, but the core 2 purposes is number 1, it sets the pace for the racers to know the appropriate speed to go on the track during rest times, okay? During rest times, as it's doing this, as it's moving slowly, this car is front and center. So the second purpose for it is to be an advertisement, to be a demonstration, to be an example. So they actually put advertisement on it. It's a bold and vibrant color, yellow, orange. It's always bright and it's always front and center. It's the pace car. Are y'all with me? So as I started reading more about this pace car, I started getting more and more excited because I could see so many of the people I work with, so many of the clients I've worked with, how they begin to move in their industries and how they begin to set a different pace and how others gathered around them. So I help people build movements. I help them build communities and movements online that actually sell their products, their programs, their coaching, their teaching, their books, whatever the case, right? So literally, it says a pace car plays a crucial role in controlling the speed of the field at the start of the race and during caution periods. They look different from other cars. So the manufacturer has the best, most, the newest version of the car, whether it's a Ford Mustang, whether it's a Chevy Corvette, a Camaro, SSR, Toyota Supra. These are fast cars. Listen, let me say this for now. For those of you who are in this live stream and you type the words, the pace is set. For those of you watching, the pace is set. Understand that just because you are different, just because you're a little bit outside of the norm, but still wanting to be in the race doesn't mean that you're in the wrong race, doesn't mean that you're on the wrong field. It means that maybe, just maybe, it's your job to set the pace. And I started thinking about the past, probably about a year in my business, how I've been moving. And women have been coming, like Talia and Sandy and Mary, and they've been moving a little bit differently. I've been showing them how to kind of navigate social media in a way where they can see themselves as influencers that actually produce on social media. They're not playing games, like for their families, for their families, for their children, they're producing. For their husbands, some of them, they're producing on social media. So I've kind of shown them how to move, how to have elevated thinking. As my boyfriend began to tell me the purpose of a pace car, I immediately said, God, the pace is set. I knew that was the name of this live stream yesterday. The pace is set, that now it's time to take off. So I want to help you to understand, number one, that you're in the right place, that this is the right live stream for you before you go any further, waste any of your time. And number two, I'm going to help you to know your next steps for whatever it is that you're called to build, to create, to develop, that the pace is set. Whatever race you're called around, the pace is set. The organization you want to build up, the book you want to release, the program you want to really write out and build, the course you want to create. This is for creatives who are looking to build in this season. The pace is set, right? So I said, okay, the car is meant to control the speed. I see you, Tana. It's meant to control the speed. And if it's people on YouTube, forgive me, I'm very new at YouTube, so I'm getting the swing of it. Please subscribe if you're, led to subscribe. Like I said, I've never used YouTube before. I've made nearly $1 million online and never used YouTube for business. I just haven't done it, I think, in like 6 or 7 years. So thank you for joining. So let's keep going. The pace is set. That means you've been probably in a season of rest. You're in the right places. Number one, you've been in a season of rest. You've been kind of like, you're flowing, you're doing things, but for the most part, you've been out of the limelight. For the most part, you kind of just settled back. Your position has shifted, your position has changed, and now you kind of know the lane you're meant to drive in, right? You kind of know this is where I'm meant to be. Now, how it's going to build, I don't know. How it's going to grow, I don't know, but I know this is where I'm called to be. Okay, this is it. This is the spot. This is the place. This is where I'm called to be. If you know that, drop a 1. You're like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Just start typing me or drop a 1 so I know that you're in the right spot. But this, for those of you watching the replay, this is how you know you're in the right live stream. Is that it's kind of time to shift. You've been getting ideas. You're like, I know it's time to break out. But the pace has been set for the past year or so, maybe the last 2. You've kind of gotten in position, you changed your thinking, you've moved to new cities, you've gotten a new job, you got new opportunities on your job. Things are just opened up for you to operate a little differently. You've been prepared, you've been cultivated to operate differently. That's what a pace car does. It sets the speed on the track. And its purpose is to be a demonstration, to show the people, to show the drivers that when you're in caution, this, when we're in a caution or a pit stop, this is the pace. This is the proper speed to go. Why? Because if the car actually stops while they're in a pit, right? If all the cars are forced to stop in a pit versus going at a very sedate and measured pace, then they're not going to be able to keep their engines and fluids at the proper temperature that's optimal for the race. So much science is inside of this. I'm just giving a top level view from my homework, from what the research I did, right? So you know you're in the right place now. You're watching a video. Let's move. Now that you know you're in the right spot, you don't have to leave. Don't leave nowhere. If you this is you, you're in the right video right now. Okay. The season is changing. About 3 months ago, I created something new called Live Your Sound Out Loud. liveyoursoundoutloud.com is my signature program. Now it is. I didn't have this 4 months ago. So how can I have a signature 10 years into my career? And I only started selling it 4 months ago, because literally for a year and a half, I was working, but I couldn't quite find that pace, that actual name, that energy. Something was missing. So all I did was just keep moving. I never stopped. I just kept moving in the business. I kind of just kept making those small progressive steps daily, doing what is required, that 1% energy, that slight edge energy. I started moving in that. Okay. Are we all with me? Let me try to keep everything centered so we can do that, right? So I'm in that space until literally I start hearing the sound shift. Since that point to now, it's been about 4 months. I've actually coached probably like 30 people, 30 women, with a couple of men in some of my VIP programs, like my VIP, like weekly boot camps. Men don't typically come into my programs, but they come into my boot camps, like, because they kind of want some quick results. Women tend to sit with me longer because they really want to embody the energetic mindset principles, all of that stuff, to actually becoming that woman. I just wrapped up a coaching session with one of them who was with me for 8 weeks, but she upgraded to a one-to-one. And in that one-to-one, which we did earlier today, I kind of helped her to see how no, she wasn't stuck. Here's what she can do. And we begin to write out a strategy for her to maybe produce maybe, 5 figures in the next, 90 days. 5 figures on top of what she makes in her 6-figure job. I'm like, let's get you to 25,000 this quarter, and let's do it this way, $25,000, and let's do it this way. I began to share with her about some mindset principles, some things that she could do, like how she could shift her language to be more open and more creative, all of that stuff. Okay. We just did that after 8 weeks, because now she's ready to do something because the pace has been set. And so I just created the program. Now that the program is set, the sound is set, the revenue potential I'm going to make this quarter is set, I'm about to run. I'm getting ready to run. I'm moving. You understand what I'm saying? So him saying what he said let me know it was time to take off. Just some random conversation, but it held such a poignant, meaning for me, simply because I know I have not been driving at the speed I'm capable of driving. Does this make sense, y'all? Are y'all connecting with me now? Like, it's all connecting, right? While we're doing this live stream, while you're here, and why I'm actually live streaming this message. The pace is set. You've been resting, you've been building, your position has been set. The thing about this pace car is that the rules say that the cars can't change position while they're being paced. Right? I love that Sandy is traveling cross country. She's actually doing her last hurrah before she takes off this quarter, because she doesn't know she's taking off. I thought about you today, Sandy. I was like, it's time for Sandy to do whatever she's about to do. It's time for her to do it now. Sandy's been with me for 3 years. She's been through several of my programs. And literally, it's just, she got through an incredible season of losing her mom. And now she's ready to release her sound. So I can't wait for you to get back, Sandy. I love the pictures you've been sharing with us in our community. So let's keep going. So the most important job is to keep the field at a safe speed in the proper position before the beginning of the race and during cautions. The pace car pulls out in front of the field and stays at a constant speed. Drivers are required to stay behind the pace car in the order of their position at the time the caution was called. All right, or the pole position at the start of a race. Maintaining position is important for the integrity of competition, as passing is allowed only under green flag conditions, only when the race is on, when the doors are open. When drivers see the pace car out in front of a race, it makes them aware that they must stay in the position they're in. They can't pass, they can't move, they're in position. If this is you, you know, okay, listen, I'm ready. I have an idea now. I have clarity now. I have vision now. I know where I'm about to go. I know what I want. This is you. Just start saying, I'm in position. I'm in position. And I began to tell this mighty woman of God I was speaking with earlier today, I was like, you're not stuck. You're in position. Don't stop saying you're stuck and unleash your capabilities. Stop speaking that you're stuck. You're not. And I began to show her how she wasn't. I began to ask her questions and she was like, oh yeah, I can do that. And then as the ideas started flowing from her instead of me, as she started pouring out the ideas and writing things out, I said, now there's flow. Why? Because you begin to see and you're aware now how your own language has been blocking you. Let's shift that. And literally I was like, now, are you stuck? She's like, no. I'm like, exactly. From the beginning of the session to the end, I was like, you were at the beginning, you felt one way, but the way you feel now is different, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, now it's off to the races. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's build it. Like, let's look at it. Don't worry about the how. Only run the part of the race you're in right now. So many people don't do what they're called to do because they don't know how to do it. But I'm like, before you figure out how to do it, have you done this part yet? This first step? Have you even started really planning yet? You say you're an amazing planner. You love overthinking. Leave about an hour or two for overthinking, planning, strategy, and don't erase anything. Release it all, put it all out, spitball it, put it on a map, brain map it, whatever it's required. Because one thing you're not going to say with all your brilliance and all your genius is that you're stuck. That's not true. Right? It's not true. You're not stuck. You just don't know how to start. You're not stuck. And once we started really flowing and she started writing things down and really writing how she wants it to go, everything opened up because she was no longer focused on the how. She was focused on really, what am I even doing? She was running her own race now. She's running her own race. You're not in competition with anybody else, y'all. You're driving this drive. This is your path. This is your road. This is your season. Like, don't play with that, right? So for everybody on YouTube, like I said, I'm sorry. I'm getting used to how to go both places. And I'm like, let me just try my best to stay centered while also reading what I have to read. So let me go ahead and zero that in. Yep. Oh, just a little bit more. Making it real skinny. Okay. Making it really skinny. Okay. So they got to maintain the position. And they know that this is their sign when they see a pace car. Another key factor that is a pace car plays during a race and an enforcement role when it comes to a pit stop, right? So the pit stop, the rest time, the space for them to be able to do repairs and get fuel for their vehicles. The pace car sets the speed limit for the pit road at the start of the race by driving the cars through, ensuring them the proper speed. This makes them make sure that their RPM lights are properly calibrated. And once the race started, race control will monitor the speed of cars on the pit road and actually flag them with a penalty if necessary. You can have different speed limits. There's no set limit. The pace car actually adjusts to whatever the rules are for that particular track. Whatever the rules are, whatever it is, okay? And so cautions, yellow flags during races, the pace car leads the pack at a lower speed and drivers are not allowed to pass and they must maintain their positions for the integrity of the race. Listen, this thing shook me. I was like, not only are you slower, and so many people worry about the fact that I'm not going anywhere. I feel like I'm not moving. I feel like I'm not where I should be. But it's like, but aren't you in position? Have you checked your position lately? Are you sure you have the right mindset? Are you sure that energetically you actually have the confidence to be able to do what you're about to do? How is your confidence? Where are you right now? How does the position you're in benefit you in this journey called life? So maybe the pace you're being set, maybe you're moving slower, maybe where you are is where you need to be in order for the pace to be worked out, in order for you to make sure everything is in working order, calibrated, so to speak, lights and fluids and all of that stuff. Like when y'all see, y'all, this is good, right? I'm telling y'all for real. I heard it and I felt it and I said, okay, God, the pace is set. I've been talking about the sound being released and about the season we're in for about 3 months. And I know YouTube, you haven't been with me the whole way. I'm praying that, as you come in, as you subscribe, as you vibe with me, you get live notifications, whatever the case, that you would know that, yeah, we're getting ready to take all the way off. I'm probably going to have to set a certain time for my live streams, and I will. If the Holy Spirit is calling me to, I'll set a certain time, but not anything before. Okay. So doing this pace actually enables the drivers to keep their tires, their engine systems influenced at their proper operating temperatures before a race, and during a caution period by permitting them to drive around the track at reduced speeds. Because if they stop, stuff is going to start cooling down and it's not going to be at the optimal speed. Listen, I know people will say to you, you know what, it's okay for you to just give up. It's okay for you to just sit back and just relax and, just it is what it is and it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not okay. You know what's okay for your life. You know what you're called to. You inherently know. You know it's in you what it is that you're called to do and become in this hour, in this moment, in this season. And when someone else says to you, it's okay for you to settle, understand that they are literally operating in whatever assignment they've been given to be basic. Because nobody who was successful, no one who was advanced in their career and developed to become the best version of themselves in the moment they're in will tell you it's okay to settle. It's okay to just relax and that, life happens and okay, yeah, it does happen. But keep going anyhow. Keep the engine on. Come on. Keep the engine on. If you feel like you've been idling, thank you for that word, Ria. If you feel like you've been idling, that's good because at least the engine is still warm. At least your heart is still beating and you're still alive and it's still a purpose for you. And I said, okay, I get it. I get it. There's a reason for the pace car. There's a purpose for the pace being set. There's a purpose for it. And however long it needs to take, let it take that long and then some. Doesn't matter how long it takes. It takes as long as it needs to. But when you're ready to take off, don't let nobody stop you. But there's a level of momentum and there's a level of speed that comes in when you're ready. You know it, you feel it inherently that you're ready, right? Following the rules of the pace, maintaining that speed, not stopping. These are all necessary for you running at the optimal temperatures. I mean, optimal temperatures. I love that. I love this stuff. I really do. I really do. And so fact of the matter is, let's go ahead and shift now because I've gotten what I needed from this website. Let me go ahead and close this thing down and let me just expand this and focus. This season that we're stepping into is literally one of creativity and abundance. Come on. Creativity and abundance. That means that all these ideas you have are not just, pointless ideas. Like every idea that you have, all that God has given you, it's not pointless. It does matter, right? It does matter. What you build, how you build does matter. You continuing to move, it does matter. Those ideas you have will see the light of day. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. It's time for you to embody what it is that you're called to embody without fear. Without fear. And of course, what you say of yourself matters. If you say you're stuck, guess what? You are stuck. If you say you can't move and you don't know where to go, yeah, it's time for you to start decreeing something different. Really look at the positive part of where you are and affirm that. One thing I said to the young woman today who encouraged me even to go deeper today in our one-to-one, I said to her, you may not know where you're going, but you do know the joy that you want to have when you get there. You do know how you want to operate, how you want to create. Not that that won't change, but at least you know that. At least you have an idea about what it is that you're really putting out in the world. And you know that it has to do with healing and abundance. I'm like, that right there is enough. That's enough to get started, to get motivated about empowering someone else to heal. What do you need? What did you need when you initially thought of this idea? And if you're committing to this, then you still feel unresolved issues about this, let's create it. Let's create the solutions. Let's create the things that people actually need. Let's not be overly concerned about the how. That's not your job to figure out the how. It's to walk it out. We tend to live in two different places, in the past or in the future. People very rarely live in the moment they're in. They remind you of the failures they had before, the things that didn't work before, how they started and stopped because no one believed in them, or there was something else that stopped them, or there was something else that prevented them from keeping the momentum, from growing. And then there's people who are like, well, I'm not afraid of repeating the past or anything like that, but I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm going to fail. I don't know if this is even going to work. No one knows if anything is going to work until they start. Unless they're doing something where they're getting paid a job and they know it works because someone else worked it, someone else figured it out first, and now they're just following the SOPs. What if your life doesn't have an SOP? What if it doesn't have standard operating procedures? Yes, go girl, go have some fun. Bye, Faith. What if there are no SOPs? Then what? Like, this is the season that we're stepping into. Is that you're going to have to create the journey as you're going. Like, walk inside the walk as you're moving. Build a function as you're going. Write it out. Make it clear how it is you want to actually show up. Someone just sent me that text out of the blue last night. As my guy and I, we were kind of going through the creativity piece. Like, what do we want to do that we can build together and have fun doing it, right? And out of the blue, she said, oh, I heard the Lord say, write the vision and make it plain. I was like, oh, nice. That's confirmation. I'm actually doing that right now. I got to write out what this looks like, how this is going to sound in my new season. And I am stepping into a new season. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How am I going to embody this woman that literally changes everything? I don't know. But I do know what I want it to look like. I do know. And if I get a destination, then I can grow into the journey. I can become the thing. The pace in this season has been set. Just so we know, the pace in this season has been set. The journey is open. The doors are open, but we got to really get serious about writing the vision, making it plain, and knowing this is where I want to go. This is what my finish line looks like. This is what my finish line looks like. This is what my journey looks like. And it doesn't need to make sense. It just is. It doesn't need to be comprehended by anyone else. This is the journey I am on. And if they decide to come along to the journey, they can get in the passenger seat, but I'm driving. I'm setting the pace. That's the energy to embody in this hour. And I'm telling you, there is a sound being released. There's a knowing being implanted in so many people's hearts about where it is they're going next. And if you happen to come into this live stream and you don't know yet, what am I doing? Where am I going? Oh, well, I want you to look at where you are right now. I want you to look over your life. Your life absolutely leaves clues. What are the things that bring you joy? What are the things that you do well? What are your skill sets? Like, begin to explore yourself fully and look at what really lights your fire. Because this is not a whole message about following your heart. That's not what this message is about. This message is about creating the life you want. That's not the same thing as following your heart. Because remember that you could feel overwhelmed. And if you follow overwhelmed, you're getting nowhere. Remember that you can feel frustrated. You follow frustration, you get more frustration. So this is not follow your heart, because your heart changes statuses all day. Your heart is moving the needle all day. Relationships, driving, anger, frustration, people, things not working out. Your heart is changing daily. Period. Daily, multiple times a day. So I would never tell anyone to follow their heart. Never. But I would say to know thyself. Know yourself. Know what it is you bring to the table. Like, know yourself for real. Be real with you. And decide to create a destiny that is aligned, that is on fire, that is full of glory. Just know, like, nobody else can break that. No one can stop that. Only you. This is that season to move. Seriously. Let's go. The doors are open. The season has changed. The pace is set. The doors are open. The season has changed. The pace is set. Let me type that. The doors are open. Let me type that in. The doors are open. The pace is set. Oh, the doors are open. The season is changing. What does that mean? We've stepped into harvest season. The season is changing. What does harvest season mean? That means we step into a season where fruit is coming forth quickly. Ideas are being released quickly. You got to make up your mind where it is you're going to stand in this race, what position you're going to be in, and how you're going to flow. Be real with yourself and know where you are. I know where I am on my journey. I'm coming into another level of growth, and I'm very thankful for that. Another level of growth, another season of development, and I'm doing it quickly. But when I'm doing it, I'm also building from the knowledge learned from the last season. I'm building, creating new programs, and actually serving the women that are called to work with me, that feel, they feel connected. So the season is changing. The pace is set. The pace is set. For many of us, we even have a taste and see. We've experienced the kind of life that we want. The season is changing. We literally have experienced the life that we desire. We've experienced it. We experienced new people. We have, and it's something different. I'm actually dropping this inside my chat. I dropped it in two places: Facebook chat and YouTube chat. I'm so tickled that I'm on YouTube, finally going live. Holy Spirit is having its way. I feel it. I feel God. I feel this shift in this atmosphere. Even when I started this live stream, I could feel the energy was different. And I was like, okay, God, I'm ready. I feel the energy of expansion and embodiment. YouTube is such a massive platform for discovering the things that you love, the people that you love to follow, embrace, enjoy. There's something shifting, just so we all know. Okay, just so we all know, something is shifting. So, oh my God, I'm gonna come and bring this live stream to a close. I've been live streaming for like an hour. Oh, 40 minutes, that's it? Oh my God, 40 minutes. So let's chat. Let's get into these comments. And it says here, don't turn the engine off, keep it idling. I already read that one. Thank you so much, Ria. And then Celise said, I am flooded with ideas almost daily. I am flooded with ideas almost daily. The door is open for you, Celise, to drop those ideas on your grandbabies, on your children. There's something shifting even now over the live stream. Scooting out for some mystery shopping. That was my friend Faith. She's leaving. Sandy is literally giving us the cliff notes. Yes, it is harvest season. Old things are passing away and something new is coming forth. And then, yes, if you heard YouTube this morning and you're a creator, jump on YouTube and start building. I only have like 70 subscribers on one channel. I have 380 on another channel called A Queen's Worth. I'm gonna do poems on there. I'm just gonna go in there and do a poem a day for like a year and see what God says. And these are just gonna be poems that flow, that set. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I know it's gonna be fun. I move with the Holy Spirit, y'all. Y'all have no idea. I just create on demand. I've been doing this for a decade, and it's been changing my life. So I'm going to flow a little bit. For those on YouTube, I flow differently with the live stream. When those who are on the live with me, I kind of, they give me permission, they drop a word or a couple of words, and I just kind of encourage them with what I hear and what I see, and really give revelation or strategy for their next steps based on what I see. So if you're still here, type the comment. Let's type this. It's a different energy, but it's awesome. Type the words, the pace is set. You're still here. I know you might have typed it before, but I just want to see who's still here on the live stream. Let's flow for the live. Let's flow on the live stream. And for those who are on YouTube, thank you for joining with me. Thank you for connecting with me. God, this was a good idea. I love it. It's a little different, but it's worth it. We're going to flow a little bit. And so the pace is set. All right, I see you, Sandy. I see you typing, Queen. You're first out of the gate. Hey, Ria, Sunbird. Hey, Uche, sorry, the pace is set. Hey, Ria, the pace is set. Let's do it. Let's shift. I'm going to drop a link right now. I am doing a live workshop on Tuesday, October 24th. If you want to join me and 19 others, I'm going to actually limit the room to 20. It's a live workshop. I'll be doing it monthly, so don't worry. If you miss this one, you'll be able to do the next one. But I always look at the price each month, look at the demand, and I change the price accordingly. So whatever you see is what you see on the price point. But I'm going to drop the link for Life Sound Workshop. It is October 24th at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Think of it like a live event. You'll be on with me in a Zoom room. I want people to have their whiteboards ready because I'm going to be dropping revelation. We're going to be working with them to help them develop their sound. It is actually a messaging workshop. What is the message? How does your life speak? For some of you, you'll be able to use the workshop to write out sales pages, to write out copy, to fill up programs, workshops, books, even book premises. Like if you are ready, we can be able to bring the premise and make sure it's something that people actually want to buy and position it in a way where it makes sense for people to purchase. So we're going to be really helping you to develop messaging. It is a messaging workshop. And so your life has a sound and abundance has a sound. And I can actually help you develop your message so it matches the abundance you desire. Okay, where am I? I'm listening to my voice. There we go. I was hearing my own voice and I just want to make sure I was set. LifeSoundWorkshop.com. Life, L-I-F-E, sound, S-O-U-N-D, workshop, W-O-R-K shop.com is the link. You can tap in and you can decide to join us on the 23rd for that workshop. It's going to be from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you don't want to miss it. So let's go ahead and shift because I feel such a shift. So let me start with my sister, Sandy, and let's start flowing. Listen, I know you're ready to take off, Sandy. As I was working on this workshop page, and I was looking through it, I kept thinking that this is for the women like yourself who have so many skills, have ideas, have worked for years in corporate America, but they're like, how can I best get my message out there in a way where I attract people who are aligned, where people can read what I write and actually decide to jump in my programs? I need to be able to tap into that. I invest in myself all the time, but one thing I know how to do well, and I'm always really working on developing, is the messaging, how I show up on social media, how my words flow together. When I say I've written whole books that has absolutely changed the game for me, changed my life. There's nothing like it. Okay? There's nothing like it. I want to encourage you that the pace is set. So for Sandy, I thought of your business. I thought of what you want to do. I thought of ways that you could literally start building up a masterclass type environment. But of course, we're going to call it different, something different, because masterclasses aren't played out. They're effective, but calling it a masterclass gives it the wrong name. If you go back to the live stream, What's in a Name? I believe that one was a replay. If you go back to the live stream called What's in a Name, I essentially break down why the name makes a difference. And I actually shouted you out because Sandy's been with me for about 3 years. She's an ambassador in my company. So I can know that if I had her to speak for the company, she would have the language and the energy to speak for me as I'm building something amazing. Even, as I'm going through the name changes with this signature product, which is Live Your Sound Out Loud. I told her, I said, woman of God, I said, there's something changing, and there's something that's changing. It is the desire to create a program where people can actually understand how to live out their sound. Like I said something like that, she turned around and said, that's the name of the program. Sandy, you have massive vision, you have clarity, like you're stepping into a new season, like your ladder is something different. Consultant is the word. Consultant is the word. Wear that word with clarity and pride, not just in sales, but embodying confidence and building the life that they desire. You're building it. You've built it. You've done it. So the wisdom that you carry is priceless. How you package it in this season is what will matter. So I thought about you for that Life Sound workshop. I don't know what it is, but I know this is for women like Sandy who are like, I just need to, and men too. Men are welcome to come into the workshop because it's not a long-term, 8-week thing with women. And so it's open to men and women. And the workshop is all about understanding the sound of your life and how when you show up, how do you communicate that? What do people see? What do they hear? And how can we change that and cultivate intentional messaging for when you show up, when you speak, how you position yourself and how you move? That's what we're doing. in the Life Sound Workshop. So I built that for you, Sandy, and I just wanted to tell you that you are all over it, and it's all over you. This is your season to take off now. And the resting you took place, which is clearing things out. The ideas you've been writing down for the last 2 weeks is just clearing things out. You've been pouring out anew and afresh, and we're going to bring that together, build out sales pages, build out branding, but you are a consultant. That's it. There's something bigger that God wants to do with you. So let's keep going. The pace is set for our sister, Rhea. Rhea, I know that you are coming through some physical, health challenges. Let me just help you and tell you right now that despite those challenges, you are healed. And despite those, I just kept hearing the Holy Spirit say heal. And despite those challenges, you are going to produce. Get ready, not just in the workplace. Determine, figure out, write down, think of. And the question to ask yourself is, how can I XYZ? So when you start asking, how can I create revenue doing XYZ, the thing I love, empowering children, what can I do that's scalable, but that will actually leave the impact and open the doors for me to speak, to encourage, to empower? This is your season to be in the spaces, to be in the room with the children, the teens, the young adults who need you. They need your gift. They need you. I'm telling you big time, you are necessary in terms of the creativity. And these children see themselves as creatives, but their minds are being shaped by social media. Their minds are being shaped by the use of technology and gaming and apps. But putting the phone down and opening up creativity in a different way is necessary. And you have all the pieces they need. This is that season. The pace is set for you to go and take off and to trust God in this journey called life that you have it. Uche, the pace is set. I'm excited. Uche, the pace is set for you. Let me talk to you for a minute about the new level you've reached in your job. You're essentially operating in a function that doesn't have a function. It's a very uncomfortable space to be functioning somewhere that doesn't have a title or pay raise. But let me help you. Remember the work we did around gratitude, around intention, around indifference? That work is going to come into place in this season. And difference and intention are going to help you to know literally how to shape out a position that quote unquote only exists in your heart and with your manager, right? He knows and he wants it for you. But who knows what's going to develop next? I hear the word specialist. If Sandy's a consultant, if I, come in as a guide or a strategist, right? I hear the word specialist for you. Write that word down. I'm a specialist. And start writing out with clarity the vision that you desire as a specialist and what you do. I know that they have NDAs with where you work and that they have non-competes when you leave, but you understand that you can be brought in as a contract worker, as a specialist, and you can work as you desire. You can build as you desire. There is something that God wants to do through you and he wants to expand you. And I believe that's happening faster than you think. I know you may think it's going to take another 3 to 5 years. It won't. It won't. You're a specialist. That's what I hear. Oh, you've been walking better and stronger. Praise God for healing in Jesus' name. All right. Listen, I'm almost towards the end of this live stream. I did a few where I can just share what I hear. But let me just say this for everybody watching at this point, even those on YouTube, that the way you move in this season matters. If you move with the old mindsets, if you move with the old pride issues, the old fears, the old unbeliefs, it's going to contaminate what you're stepping into now. I highly recommend you do mindset work, whether you sit with it, whether you envision it, whether you pray about it, whether you speak it out loud over yourself as often as you need, however you process information, however you can just speak to yourself and get those results. The result is this: change the way you see yourself. You are not who you were. You are not your parents. You are not that person from 6 months ago, 3 months ago, a month ago. You have to embody the place you want to go into, right? You have to embody the place you want to go into, the way that you want to go into it. And honestly, no one is going to help you with that. You must embody it. You must sit with it, think about it, sit inside of it without fear that this is the life you desire. These are the functions you want to be able to perform. This is how you want to operate. I love this the pace is set. I like the way this really landed for me as a live streamer and as an analogy, simply because without a pace car, they wouldn't be able to keep their cars at the optimal temperature. They wouldn't be able to remain in position during those times when it's time to rest. To just set the safety protocols and the way that they can actually stop, refuel, things like that. The pace car doesn't. And thinking about that, all of them are seeing themselves as a winner. They're all seeing themselves on the finish line. The endurance that's needed to finish that race, it literally requires endurance and pays millions, because the more eyeballs, the more money. That's just we wish we could pay teachers more. No, the more eyeballs, the more money. Okay. The more eyeballs, the more money. So, and at least in this case, in real life, right? So, the more people see you in an operation, the more, you can begin to really position yourself, and the more people you can help, the more people you can offer to help through offering them a product, a service, your books, whatever the case. More people, the better. It's what it is. So as much as we hate to look at influencers, they might have built it wrong, but someone who has real influence and 100,000 followers can literally make between $200,000 and $500,000 a year with the right influence, built the right way, not just with, their bodies or with their faces, but I'm talking about real influence. You understand what I'm saying? So just a word there, just a word of encouragement, to be able to build a movement, to not be afraid of seeing yourself as a leader in the very thing you're called, whether that's in sciences and math and, youth empowerment, like what Rhea is in, women's empowerment, like what Sandy and I are in. With Faith, she belongs on stages, and that's how she empowers people. Like the excitement, the joy, travel, event planning. I feel like that's the future for Faith, even though she's no longer in the room. Are y'all hearing that? You got to see yourself as what you are. And it's easy to see yourself when you've reached that goal. But what if you haven't reached that goal yet? What if you have never been invited to a speaking engagement? What if you never won a race or whatever the case? Your vision in your mind is powerful. Ooh, some bikers showed up. Some bikers showed up here at the Starbucks. But your vision is powerful. It really is. Your mind, like the way you imagine yourself, like as you see yourself, that person, you're going to become that person. It's going to be undeniable. Like, I just considered the fact that I'm in a couple of I'm in one MLM company. I have my own business as a coach, consultant, whether it's life, indoor business. I do coaching and consulting. It kind of mixes when you're in business, but when you're doing life coaching, it's kind of just like coaching and mindset and, really understanding the energetics behind building, behind releasing, behind becoming. So all of that to say, listen, let me help you. All of that to say, how do you see yourself? Like, really, how do you see you? Are you really seeing yourself as who you were, or are you seeing yourself as the person you're becoming? And the way you do that is to sit with it, embrace it, and believe that this is possible for you in your life. That's really the first thing. Is shifting the way you see yourself. See yourself at the finish line. See yourself winning the race of your life, right? Like of your life. Not the race of your life, but your life. So I'm going to go ahead and shift now, because I think that this is the message in a nutshell. I think the message is done. What do y'all think? Y'all think the message is finished? I think it is. And I got 10% battery life. So it keeps saying my live stream ended, but I know it didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this room now. We'll go ahead and wrap up this room now with prayer. I'm gonna wrap it up, just encouraging you to get up, to know that something's shifting now, something's about to move. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Lenny, good to see you. So I am getting ready to close the room. The message of the pace being set, the analogy, the way that I kind of broke it down, I pray that it really bless you. I really do. And I'm about to go now because it's done. It's done. It's time to move. It's time the pace is set. So of course, my live streams may be shorter than normal. I think this one has been exactly an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and say to my family on YouTube, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream now.